If you're preparing to take the ASVAB, then you've come to the right place. But first, it's important to understand how it's scored, because there are actually a few different scores you get from this one test. Stick with me and I'll explain it all. Welcome to the U.S. Military Test Prep channel by Study.com. My name is Dr. Steele. I'm a U.S. Army veteran and an ASVAB test prep expert. In today's video, I'm going to cover everything you need to know about your scores on the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, or ASVAB. Let's start by breaking down the scoring system and interpreting the results. The ASVAB has 9 or 10 subtests. 10 if you take the computerized version, and 9 if you take the paper and pencil version, because that one combines 2 of the sections into one. These subtests check your knowledge in different areas, like math, vocabulary, and mechanics. You can find a video on this channel that gives more information about the paper versus computer version. You'll get a standard score for each of the subtests. So what's a standard score? It's basically how you stack up against other people your age, specifically 18 to 23-year-olds in the U.S. The average score is 50, and the scoring system is built around that. 50 is your baseline, and a 10-point difference shows how far above or below average you are. So a 60 is above average, and a 40 is below average. It's that simple. Higher scores show off your strengths in certain areas, which can be a game changer for landing specific military roles. You will also get a percentile rank. This shows how your performance compares to others. For instance, a percentile rank of 75 means you scored better than 75% of standard test takers. Things get a little more interesting when we get to the composite scores. The military uses composite scores, also known as line scores, to figure out what jobs you're best suited for. These scores come from combining your standard scores in areas that have been identified as important to certain jobs. Each branch of the military has its own way of calculating these because different roles need different skills. Each military job has a minimum composite score requirement in one or more areas. A technical job, for instance, would look at your math and science scores, and a mechanical role will care more about your understanding of mechanics and tools. Your composite scores really dictate what jobs you qualify for, so they're worth paying attention to. Your Armed Forces Qualifying Test, or AFQT Score, might be the most important score on the ASVAB. It determines whether you can enlist at all. Each branch sets its own minimum score, so that's the bar you'll have to clear to move forward. The AFQT comes from a combination of your scores on 4 key subtests. Arithmetic reasoning, which has basic math word problems. Mathematics knowledge, which includes a variety of math concepts. Word knowledge, which looks at your understanding of vocabulary and word meanings. And paragraph comprehension, which measures how well you can understand written materials. Your AFQT score is a percentile ranking, meaning if you score a 60, you did better than 60% of standard test takers. Each military branch has its own standards. Let's take a closer look at the minimum AFQT score you need to enlist in each branch of the military. You'll need a high school diploma or GED to qualify for any branch of the military. The required scores vary, though, based on which one you have. If you've passed the GED exam, you'll need to aim for a score of at least 50 for all branches. With a high school diploma, the scores required are lower. You'll need a minimum score of 31 in the Air Force and the Army. The Coast Guard requires a 40, which is the highest required AFQT score. If you want to enlist in the Marine Corps or the Navy, you will need at least a 35. Those are the minimums to get in. But higher AFQT scores open up additional job options, potentially more career growth, and maybe even some bonus opportunities. Don't stress if your scores aren't where you want them to be yet. I'm here to give you some tips on what you can do to improve your scores and position yourself for the military jobs you want. First, pinpoint your weak areas. Take an honest look at which subtests are hurting your score. Next, study smarter. Spend additional time on the sections you struggled with. Look, it's no fun working on your weak areas. But remember this, the magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding. So don't avoid the areas that need the work. The right study resources can make all the difference. Study.com's ASVAB test prep resources can help with personalized plans and practice tests that will get you on track. A full 92% of users pass the ASVAB after prepping with Study.com. Taking a practice test helps you zero in on what you know and what you don't. Watch lessons to review materials you are less confident in. If you feel like you know a topic well, do practice problems and quiz yourself. If you're still missing a lot, go back, review a lesson, and make sure you know the material. A solid prep plan will boost your score. You can retake the ASVAB, but you have to wait 30 days after your first test before you can take it again, and you'll have to wait 6 months after that to take it again. So, use the time you have to your advantage. If you do need to retake the ASVAB, think about using Study.com's ASVAB study guide and test prep resources, and zero in on what you need to study. And remember, even if you don't get the score you need for the role you want, there might be other military jobs that would be a good fit for you. So be open-minded. The goal is to maximize your strengths. That's it for today. We covered standard scores, composite scores, and AFQT scores, how to prepare for the ASVAB, and what to do if you need to retake it. So, if this video helped, give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment with any questions or topics you want us to cover, and don't forget to subscribe for more U.S. military test prep content. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.